In 2019, Dylan Smith, Y12173, was released from the IDOC under the terms that he complete several deals with the state of Illinois. Those deals to set other people up prove that he did enter into these deals because the state of Illinois negligently failed to keep me safe. I was bludgeoned, I was stabbed 11 times, jumped by 3 women, and I, as recently as yesterday, was approached by a lady confirming that I am being stalked and followed. So if you guys know, Xavier and I walked over to an area of town I haven't been in probably, 3 years. I used to live in the area. It's like the North Center area. And we walked towards Western Street to go to the dollar store to replace my toothpaste and deodorant and shit. Because again, this is expensive. Like getting robbed for your personal hygiene and having to go replace it all the time, it's expensive. I have 3 children. I need to go buy face wash for my children, body wash for my children. Their uncle shouldn't have to do that. So while I'm out here, trying to live a moderate existence of having like the bare minimum, I'm getting followed around and robbed repeatedly, and law enforcement can do nothing or will do nothing. So this lady comes up to us while we're in the dollar store yesterday. And the reason I bring up Dylan is because we were on the reality show Love After Lockup together. And we were together for 5 years. And I never once went through anything like this. As soon as he got out of prison, this is when my life started spiraling, and that's why there's a direct correlation to the deals he was working with the state of Illinois, and I believe probably the federal government. I'm sure he had federal government deals. What do I mean by that? I mean, when you have felony cases that are not federal, so for instance, I believe a simple assault or an assault with a deadly weapon, that might be federal. I don't know. I don't think those cases are federal. If you have like a white collar crime, like a banking, any crime against the federal government, then there's a different set of deals and a different set of rules, and things are handled differently. And he has cases with both, or had cases with both. So he had so much shit going on and was involved in so many deals. Like I had no way of knowing. And I lived a very, very quiet life for the most part. And I know it sounds ironic to hear that if you know me, because my life was wild as fuck. But think of it this way. Monday through Thursday night, I was literally a stay-at-home mom. Working full-time, not a stay-at-home mom, but stay-at-home mom, working remotely, full-time from my computer, having my house, cleaning my house, spending time with my kids, and that's it. No friends coming over, nothing weird, like cooking, going to the gym, and being with my kids. Friday, I would drop my kids off at school, or their grandparents would pick them up and take them to school, and they would sleep over at their father's houses, which is where their grandparents and uncles lived, and aunts, all in the same area. They share like 4 houses. And my kids would go over there Friday and come back home Sunday night or Monday. The same thing every week. For those 2.5 days, all I would do was the exact same thing. Wake up, go to visit Dylan, work, make as much money as I possibly could, doing in-person dating, consultations, writing, copywriting, selling content. Pardon me. So much stuff, just a very dynamic woman. But for me, that was like normal life, like working those 2.5, 3 days in person, visiting Dylan those mornings, and then being with my children all the other days of the week. I was literally like Betty Crocker of OnlyFans, and so it bothers me that there's still such a strong sexual connotation to my identity. I've gone above and beyond to explain to you people exactly what happened when Dylan came home. Besides being bludgeoned and stabbed as a result of these deals, thank you.
Yeah.
I was raped. I was thrown out of my home. Why? You don't want it?
I'm donating it to the baby.
I was thrown out of my home. My life was destroyed, and I'm still outside 4 years later. No one is really taking this serious. And I know that there are so many charges I've been being literally stalked, harassed, beaten, sexually assaulted, robbed, my identity used and stolen, my likeness used and stolen. Xavier and I have only known each other for 15 months, but upon meeting him, I had already been at 30 different locations, and none of them were standard living situations. It seems like they have been trying to hide me. And to me, I'm grateful because it's like, well, they left me outside for several weeks at a time so that I had no choice but to literally be exhausted or fall asleep outdoors, and that's when I was sexually assaulted. So again, this is all negligence on behalf of the state, and I try to be grateful, like, oh, I have Xavier, I've been with him for 15 months, but no, Xavier, his brother is the district attorney. This is supposed to already be taken care of. If a woman is being sexually assaulted and beaten and robbed and separated from her family for 4 years and there's no assistance, there need to be answers for that, because we're paying a staff of police and detectives and security to find out what the fuck is going on and put a stop to it. So if yesterday in 2023, I have been separated for 16 weeks from my youngest child, and from my oldest children, about the same. I've seen them a couple times. I dropped in on my daughter at work, dropped her some food, dropped my son some food, but that's not really spending any significant amount of time. You know, that's not really being able to raise them. And that's my primary job. So I'm confused as to the sexualization of the world. I want to know, where the line is drawn between OnlyFans, ManyVids, Chatterbait. We met a guy yesterday who told me that's how him and his girlfriend make 100% of their living and pay their rent. And there's a lot of people like that. He said they also spend $200 to $300 a day on drugs, and all the money comes from hustling those sites. So it's super confusing to me, because I want to know where we draw the line here. If this is the way people are going to support themselves, meaning they're going to be spending a significant amount of time engaging in these behaviors, how do these behaviors contain themselves? How do they not spill over into the street so that when we're walking down the street with our children, someone's vagina flaps are not flapping in the wind at us through their bodysuit? It's disgusting. I'm a 36-year-old woman who has worked in adult entertainment. I'm 16 weeks pregnant. I am offended by the things I have seen in this neighborhood this morning. And I don't think I'm the only one who feels that way. I guess there are just different rules that we live by. When I was doing this cam work, I did things like Cocoa Pumpkin Booty. I did a little bit of raunchier scenes, but for like the private, for like the private video. I never went out into my neighborhood and gave myself an intentional camel toe in the front and back and made my nipples hard and took a fucking walk. I mean, what the fuck is going on here? What the fuck is going on? So my life is at this place now where I'm being forced to not participate. I'm being forced to only observe, learn, and then comment. Because by observing and learning, it's making me feel. And what I'm feeling is disrespected, on edge, unnerved, mocked almost. Like, is this even real? And then I start feeling bad because I feel like, well, maybe this is real. Maybe this is what the industry has evolved into. Maybe this is real. And I'm being a bitch because I'm so appalled and disgusted, and then I feel myself trying to reel in my comments and filter myself. But I just have to tell you guys, I don't know what the fuck is going on here. It is very unnerving. I am very bothered and offended. These could be the sweetest girls in the world. No one will ever know if your vagina is showing every single flap. Why are we even wearing clothes anymore? I mean, my God, it's almost worse than being naked, because the way the clothes are all bunched up in that area, it's terrible. And they're doing the same thing for the butt. It's terrible. So, on top of all my other sexual trauma and trust issues for the state and anyone with any authority, everyone around me is showing their vagina. And that's it. That's the update for today. Where it's Labor Day. We're heading back to pick up a payment. I have my youngest daughter's birthday next week. I need to drop off food and groceries and little snack packs for the kids. I have not heard back from any of the thousands of resumes I've sent out. I'm definitely still in a tech bubble. I've not given my permission to be in this tech bubble, nor do I want to be in this tech bubble. And as I said, it's unlawful. It's a violation of human rights and civil rights to force me to stay outside living in a tent and refuse to allow me to earn my own income. So as you pass by me sitting on the street with my bachelor's degree and, you know, a bunch of unprocessed emotion that wants to come out in the form of purchasing a gun, just think about that. You know, we're in 2023, a place where our society is becoming accustomed to spending anywhere from 8 to 15 hours a day masturbating, going outside with our entire vagina exposed, you know, and not giving a fuck about shit. Happy Labor Day.